So you're not audible.
Yeah, hello.
You're in mute. Yeah.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, um, yeah, so you can easily use alias to set certain set of. This is also some kind of variable which people use to generate shortcuts, and it is very useful. Just to unalias the
We lost again.
hello, hello,
You're
hello. Am
audible,
I
sir.
audible now? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, now you're audible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you just want to do unaliasing, you just do unaliasing. You just type unalias and you just tell that you want to unalias the variable. So and now you won't be able to get the uh, command for the same. Apart from this, we also have variables. Now these are like scalar variables where if I do var name, right? In this case, var name uh, is just a scalar variable and it is not storing multiple values. To store multiple values, we have concept of indexed arrays and associated arrays present in the basket. This is very important because as we go on and learn the awk command, or if you want to, uh, store large data in terms of associative arrays for your shell scripting, it is very important that you understand the concepts of index array and associative arrays and how it works in a shell script. So to declare an array, uh, an indexed array. So the difference between an indexed array and the associative array is that in the indexed array, we are using the index numbers to uh, access the values present. Whereas in the associative arrays, we use keys, uh, which can be strings also. So an example of this, so I have prepared set of examples for variables. And suppose you want to declare an array, you just have to give an option hyphen a. Now this will generate an index array, and if you want to give an input of uh, different elements to this array, you just simply have to provide them within the braces. Now this is very important that there shouldn't be any gap between the equal to sign and the braces, and which is it will generate your array. To access the elements of the array, suppose you want to present access all the elements present in the arrays, we need to give uh, the add. Uh, so it is very important when you call an array, right? So if you look at it, if I want to access all the elements, it is important that you always put them into curly braces. Yeah, and then put an add symbol. So it will, it's like a counter which will go through all the elements present in the array and it will display those elements one by one. There is another option which is available, which is called star, which also displays all the elements present in the array. The same. But when it comes to a looping, right, if you want to loop through all the elements present in an array, it is always advised to use add symbol, because star will right away only give you a list, and it will not iterate through each of the element. And I will see an example of that. An associative array is declared instead of using a small a, right? In this case, we have used small a. We just use capital A, and it will declare an associative array. And then associative array, it is declared in a different way, or defined in a different way as compared to the indexed array, where you have to give the key uh, in the square basis, and the element followed by it. There shouldn't be any spaces between these, and provide this set. Uh, so even in this case, we can call upon all the elements of the array either by using star or add, and the same principle is applied to this. If you are using star, it will not iterate through the whole array, and it will only simply print it as a line. If you want to access the keys in the array, if you want to know total number of elements present in an array, you need to use hash, and it will tell you exactly how many elements there are present. So there are total 4 in case of ARA2, and in case of ARA1, it is 6. 6 elements present. So if we can write a small script, So in lectures, I will discuss that any bash script should start with bin bash, which tells exactly where the path of the bash command is. And this is important if there are more number of shell scripts, shell environments present. So in a default Ubuntu system, right, you will get an bash script. You may also have sh, ZSH, CSH. These are different type of shell scripting environment, like bash. The terminal which we use, which we call this window, right? You can also have different type of terminals. If you have seen the previous instructor using a very different looking screen, usually don't get scared. It's just a different software on which they are emulating this terminal, and they're using either bash. If you have very fancy uh, looking, layout, this layout, that just means that they are using ZSH, uh, which adds a lot of functionality to the bash environment itself. So what we will do is we'll quickly write a script. In shell scripting, I hope you know that the file doesn't necessarily need to end with .sh. It is just a good practice which people use to differentiate between different type of files. So now we have declared array, okay, and indexed array is the, and then we'll just do for I dollar. Now this will tell that to go from each element, and $I, we want it to for all of the elements to go. For I go value over I.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Yeah,
What will the apostrophe symbol do?
yeah. So it is actually going through each element. It is telling them to go through each element apostrophe. If you just simply put array $I, it will not go through. It will give you different values. You just check that with and without what it will happen. Just
Okay,
quickly go
thank you.
through, look at it. So what we do is, like I said, we have to use add to go through each of the elements. Why would not? Because we have different array. Then we put it for two here. And there you see if you will. Yeah. So you see that in the indexed array, we see that it starts from 0. So the 0th element is var1, the first element is var2, the second element is var3. What if I remove yeah. So you see what is happening, right? So it is just printing you look at the contents of it. We are just simply going through all the elements, right? So I is the element in this case, right? So element is going to, it is printing both the same thing. It is asking for that particular element, it is printing that element. You go look at that output, you see that key is also var, value is also var. So essentially what apostrophe does is it accesses the index of the array. In the same way, if we do for we just replace uh, the array 1 with the array 2. So question got answered, right? Hello, hello, am I audible? Hello,
Yes, we can hear you.
yeah, yeah. No, her question got answered, right? It allows you to access the index of the array.
Yeah, I understood.
So if you want to access the index, that is what you need to do. So basically, let's just quickly run through this. And here we see that. Let's do that also. So here we see that the key1 is your element 1, key2 is your element 2, key3 is your element 3, key4 is your element 4. And you can see that how it is accessing it. It started with key4, then key3, then key2, then key1. Which is not the case in case of your indexed array, that it is going in a particular order. In both the scenario, you can define extra element to that array also. Suppose in array 1, I want to have 100 index. Five. And now if I just print array 1, you see that key 5 is present. And what if I want to access 100 element? Will give you key 5. If it is 0, will give you var1. So it is not required that you need to have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 even in indexed array. It needs to be an integer, but in case of associative array, it can be anything. It can be integer, it can be string, and basically associative arrays concept and also the index array concept is extensively used when we do awk programming, where you would like to go through a list of lines and where you would like to associate your line number with the text in the line, or maybe you would like to have certain set of lines to be the pattern to be matched and want to be stored that pattern into an array and then iterate over that array and do certain operations. So this element of understanding arrays and variables is very important if you're going to write shell scripts. Basically, this is also very important when it comes to doing file operations. So in the second session, I will try to get actual real world examples, and then we can discuss those also in there. So this was for the indexed array, associative array, and the variables. Apart from that, there are also some methods that sir has discussed in the lectures. Is to
Excuse me, sir.
yeah.
Sir, I didn't get how come key 4, 3, 2, 1 that thing come.
In the loop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So even if you look at when we try to echo the array, right? What it does is actually it accesses the last element first and then goes backward, because in this the last entry which was added was the key 4. So it goes in that order when we try to look through the array, right? While if you look at the array 1, which is your indexed array, in this we see that the order is reversed. Yeah. In this case, it will always access from the first key, the key here the order matters, what the number this is. So if I put a key here, try to zero, E5, and we'll print out the array. And then we see that the last one we have added was key 5, right? So if we run the loop again, not in the in this case, let's try to add it at the beginning of it. And we will add one at the end. Note that there are no commas in between. Okay, when you define in the list, right? Be separated by spaces. And yeah. So set 1 and set 2 were added the last. So you have set 1, set 2, and then key is coming right after that. So what's the output again? Set 1, set 2, key 4, key 3, key 2, key 1. It was in this order which we had added, we had done modification to the array. Let's try to give it a different name. If the order changes. Set 1, so this is the last one. The last equation we can take first. Yes. Test it, test it. Let me quickly get back to you regarding this in the next session. Okay. Hello. Hello.
We can hear you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll get back to you in the next session. So yeah. So after this, what I wanted to discuss was the redirections. And before that, I wanted to also discuss, how the integer operations are done in the shell command. So, yeah, if you look at this, this file where again here I am showing you all the possible numerical operations which can be done. Here we are defining our bin bash. We have value 1 set to 20, value 2 set to 345. As you know that in shell script, we cannot simply add the numbers because it will just simply print the numbers. So, for example, if I want to just echo 3 plus 4 will essentially just equal 3 plus 4, and it will not do the operation. So in order to do that operation, what we need to do is we need to put dollar and double braces, and in that you need to put the values. So if you look at that, say echo dollar should give you 7. This is not an issue here, but still uh, do the arithmetic. Similarly, this can be done for subtraction, multiplication, division, and if you want to find out the remainder, we can also do that. Similarly, there is another way where you can use expr. In this case, this command we lose one of the places, and the command simply will become $express expr, the first value and the second value. Let's just check whether it works. So, in fact, it is working. Or if I want to do multiplication, and we see that there is a syntax error because star is a special character in shell, and so you need to escape it in order for it to work. And we see that it is working now. Now, in shell, we cannot actually do the float operations, and you need one need to use BC calculator to do the calculations. Now, the reason why I would like to discuss this was in many of the cases you may be working on data wrangling and you would like to have a certain idea regarding you want to have averages, you want to have standard of deviations, or you may want to calculate some other aspects of certain columns. There, with the help of awk, you can easily use BC, and with awk, you can use BC to do certain calculations really fast. And it is faster than importing data into Python or any other system because it simply gives within one line command, you can easily calculate the values. So if we quickly look at the operations, if you want to give this input, you can simply pass this to BC. If it is addition, subtraction, multiplication, is fine. But if you want to do division, you need to tell the BC calculator is to tell what digit you would like to have an output. So in this case, I am setting the scale is equal to 2. That means I want up to last 2 digit the calculation. So suppose 10.45 is what I want, not like 10.4567. Rest remains the same. You can also calculate the square root by using PC. This is where it is very powerful, especially if you are calculating standard of deviations or any other mathematical operations you need to perform on your data set. It is not only restricted to this, it can easily calculate other calculations also. So I'll just quickly run this. So this is regarding the variables, which is very important. The next point I would like to review is redirections. Redirections and piping. So basically, we know that any of the command which we process uh, in the shell, we get certain output. Now, this output can be directed to a file or to do further processing. Suppose LSA will give you a nice list, right? So, what if I want uh, this to come one after another, just like this? So, in such a scenario, you can just simply use pipe. In this case, the output of this command is sent to the next command. Here I'm using TR that will transform any of the spaces you have into uh, new line. And there you see that what I have essentially done, that each of this file is separated by a space, and that space simply is replaced by new line command using tr command. So if you look at this, this is also one of the command people use frequently in a lot of operations. So it just translates or delete a character. So it only works usually on single character. If you try to use it for more characters, it won't work. Apart from that, I also wanted to talk about basis expansion, because this is also something which people use to create file names set of file names easily by using the basis expansion. Uh, just, just a minute, I'll get back. Yeah, I'm back. So, okay. And this will easily give you a combination of all of it. This is also something which you must have seen a lot of in your exams and uh, tutorials also. What if I want to echo something? Can we echo a new line in echo command? So, which is why usually we have a lot of files or a lot of variables or something of that sort to be assigned. We use the basis expansion to create a list, and a simple dr command which will give us in a table format. We were discussing regarding the redirections of input and output. So in this case, we saw that LSL was redirected using pipe command to the tr command. Yeah, in this case, we simply just piped it. What if I want to save this output to a file? Save file one. So as you can see, we are using the greater than symbol to assign to file1.txt, and this will generate the file1.txt. Similarly, if you want to append to a file, we need to use two greater than symbols, and then we change the order to F. And this will easily append the output of this command to the file one. In many of the cases, what happens is that is an invalid command. So what if I want to store the output of a command to file one, file2.txt, and I want to store if there are any errors which is coming from my command to a certain file in order to generate a log. So in this case, we just do 2 greater than. So this essentially, so basically, this is 1. So this is the first output. First thing should be, the output should be sent to the file 2. And the second is your error, which should be sent to error.log file. And we can see that this is where the error is stored. And it is not showing us the error on the screen. So basically, we are redirecting the output as well as the error to a file. What if I want to store both of them into single, like both the output as well as the error to the same file? In such a scenario, I would like to redirect to and 1 to the error.log file. This has to come before. I would like to redirect it to error.log file. This is what I'm trying to tell the system. So if you look at the error.log, you see that the output is stored here. It is important to note that before you use both 2 and 1 to redirect it to be the same file, the file name has to come first and the redirection should come first. So you can also use it with append character, which is double greater than, and it should essentially have 2 repetitions of the same. We see that ls set is failed command. How will I know whether the command was success or a fail? What if just simply keeping this, and then I would like to know the exit code. And so in this code, in this case, the exit code was 2, which is usually associated with the command not found. So ls hyphen z, either the command is not found or the option was not found. Invalid argument or no argument is usually number 2. The error code of uh, so the error code ls l is what we did, and we would like to know, and we see So for the last one, we were just typing, dollar and question mark, right, to know the exit code. So what basically it was doing was there is no such command as dollar and question mark. So this is a special variable. It has to be called by echo dollar command. So in this case, we see it is 127, which is essentially related to command not found. And if you look at the ls set and then do echo dollar, then we get the error code of 2, which is regarding invalid argument or no argument. So in this case, ls-c is not a valid argument. This error codes can be specified between 1 and 255. So 0 is for the successful command, as we have seen here in this. In this case, we see that the exit code is 0 for the successful command, and it can be anything between 1 and 220, 255 for the unsuccessful execution of the command. So basically, 0 is only true while everything else is false. This is specifically important because when we look at the when we will look at the loops, if else arguments, we'll see that this is very important. And usually, this exit code is, or the error code is generated by the system, which we have seen. But if you want to specify for a given operation that the exit code should be, suppose, let's take a quick example. We'll write a small script. So this exit command actually provides us with the option where we can have so in this script, what we are doing essentially is we are echoing the test is successful, and then if the test is successful, we are assigning this the exit code to the 4, and then we are doing ls. So what we expect is that because ls I want to modify the position for execution. And then if we echo, we see that we get the exit code of 4. So even when we had the ls command, which successfully completed, we get the exit code of 4 because this is what we have assigned for this particular line. This is very helpful when you're writing big shell scripts and you would like to assign certain values to the exit code in order to know in which portion of your code, is actually success or failed. So apart from that, the redirections, if you so let's get, okay, and we see the output, right? But if you want to provide an input, there is another way, is to give this less than operator, and it will essentially give you the same output. What it is essentially telling is whatever present in this mat operations.sh, feed that to get command. So this is the way you can easily give an input to a command. What if you want to uh, write that input while you're on the command? So here doc functionality is something which people use to do such things. So what if I want to get a and I want to provide uh, input. So in this case, you see that your PS3 is activated, and you can just simply and we just simply close off with the same letter. So you can use any letter to identify the start of the document. In this case, I have used EOF, and the same letter has to be used when you're done with the document. So I think the issue here is this is what it is printing again because we are skipping this input to the cat command, which essentially just prints uh, the files for you. So this is the input which we have provided, and this is the output that the card command is provided. Yeah, but you get the provision that you can not only just get the text. So in this scenario, uh, the, that in this file, the EOF which was fed to this document is stored. There is also ls. And what if you want to store this information to a file as well? So in this case, it is ls output of txt. So what does t command usually do is not only it stores the output to a file, it also displays the output here. Now this is one of the use cases, but what people usually use this is to pipe that the same input to another command. So if you have a command which is being doing some process in this command, they will keep using t till they are processing the same input using different commands and storing into different files. An example of this I will cover it in the awk, the second session. Apart from that, the other thing today I really wanted to.
Sir,
Yeah.
just a quick question. So this T basically allows for your standard output as well as the file output, is it? That's what it does, right? T
Allows you
to do branching off to a standard output as well as the file output, is it? That's what it
yeah.
does.
So it is storing. What exactly it does is that it takes the output, it stores into a file, and it also gives it again to the standard output. So this standard output usually is again processed. Usually when they use set and awk command in sequence, right? Sometimes they would like to have the standard output process over and over again. So in those scenarios, T is very helpful command. So you get to have the output as well as it can be stored in the file. So I think one of the examples I will cover in the where they have used awk with T command to create certain operations in the second session. So apart from that, I hope you know some basic operations. Operations such as what does a semicolon means, what does and operator means, and what your double pipe operator that or operator means, and what is the significance of single and operator. So suppose I'm running a very long command. This is what people use a lot. So it what it does is it will wait for 5 seconds, and then it will again come back to the prompt. So what if I don't want to wait till sleep 5 is over and I want to execute another command? So in such a scenario, what people do is you will send the sleep command to background by using just and suppose I want to run the second command LSL. So in this case, we see that the first line tells you the process ID, that 514 for the sleep, while it actually outputs the second command also, which is ls -al. So what if I use double AND operator here? So in this scenario, what happened is that the first like the output says that the first command was done sleep 5, and only after that the lsl command is executed. So basically, if you want in a situation, if you want uh, uh, you want a condition where the second command is executed only when the first one is successful. In such a scenario, AND operator is used. And what if I use the double pipe operator, which is an OR operator? So if sleep 5 is successful, it should not run ls-l command basically. So this is what exactly it had done. So this is important set of parameters which are used in shell command, shell scripting. What about this? What if I have only semicolon? What will do? So essentially, it waits for the first command to complete, and then the second command is executed. So, for example, if I am writing a for loop for I in 0, 5, 2, 4, so in this case, we see that we can easily separate set of lines in your shell script by semicolon. This is very useful when you would like to have quick output uh, or you want to run quick operations. In this case, we have run just simple echo $, but it can be any operation you would like to run on the command. So for this purpose, the semicolon is important. I think I'll stop here for today. In the next, which will probably happen on Sunday, Sunday afternoon around the same time, I'll be quickly giving in that will be more of an hands-on. So we'll look at the use cases of all of these variables in terms of set, awk, and grep scripts, and we'll look at for the pattern selection how grep and ERP is used, and what are its rules and which, uh, which can be used. They are a little different when it comes to set, the way you need to pose a problem, and when it comes to awk, how will you pose the pattern matching is little different. So we'll look at that also. So in the next session, probably I will be showing you a bunch of uh, shell scripts, and we'll see one by one how set, grep, and awk is used, and uh, how they can be used in data processing as well as for administration purpose. That's it for today. Any questions? Hello.